guys, and welcome back to another video. Whoa, that mic quality. I'm hoping it's better. As of now, listening back to the recording, it actually is pretty good. I'm hoping that rendering doesn't mess it up, but I hope it's better for you guys. Anyways, in today's video, we're going to discuss and break down some plot holes that are being created by the fairy tale spinoff Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. But before I get into it, I feel as though I should have some sort of disclaimer. I am by no means a fairy tale hater. I mean, that's kind of obvious since the whole reason I started my channel was because I love fairy tale. But with that being said, I don't think it's perfect. After all, what story, truly is. Anyways, if you enjoy manga and anime uploads, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell down below. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The first thing I would like to do is really go into detail about all we know about Animotica. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did get this information from the Fairy Tail wiki, however, everything I read was very consistent with the actual manga. I shortened all of the information to only be relevant towards this video, excluding parts about like facial expression, fighting with guild arts, and other smaller details. So, Animotica, also known as the Black Dragon, and in some cases the Dragon King, was a cataclysmically powerful dragon slayer that can take the form of a dragon as he pleases. Due to the dragons murdering his family, destroying his city, and claiming the life of children, he took it upon himself to slay every dragon in existence, believing they only cause destruction and pain. 400 years ago, Animotica was a ruthless, bloodthirsty, and violent person. He killed any and all dragons he could, ignoring the fact that many were his comrades. As Zareth Dragneel puts it, he sees other humans as nothing more than insects, ignoring any and all attempts by them to converse, which suggests that Animotica is a highly arrogant person. However, Animotica's motives are also shrouded in mystery. Even with one arm, according to Zareth, has the power to rule the world, yet elects not to do so. Insights into his wishes have only been touched upon in outside sources, which include his vague desire to fight against humanity, as well as face an opponent strong enough to give him a real challenge. This part is confusing to me because if there were 5 dragon gods, why didn't they do anything about Animotica, or vice versa? Why didn't Animotica take them on because they seem to be worthy challengers, if you know what I mean? Born over 400 years ago, Animotica was one of the first dragon slayers to come into existence. Animotica and a group of other dragon slayers, however, became corrupted by their power and disregarded the cause of their comrades that they were fighting for, killing every dragon they could and bathing in their blood. After encountering a gang who fatally injured Sonia, which, if you're not familiar with her character, she is from the movie Dragon Cry, Animotica killed all of them in reprieve for the child, and then came upon her wounded body, promising he'll slay every dragon after he couldn't save her life. For many years, Animotica roamed Earthland, and was credited with the single-handed destruction of an entire country. Which this can only mean that no, Animotica was not stationed in just Fiore. It wouldn't make sense if he was. He dedicated 400 plus years to the extermination of dragons, and that means all dragons of Earthland, not just Fiore. Fast forward in the story, Animotica appears again in the ruins of the Cube, where the battle between fairy tale mages and Tartaros takes place. Shortly thereafter, taking advantage of Igneel's worry for Natsu, Animotica fires a dragon roar at his opponent's head, but misses. Acknowledging Igneel as his enemy, Animotica speaks to him, citing his displeasure at the existence of dragons. He ends his comment by saying that he will slay Igneel. From this comment alone, we can see that even Animotica was a tad bit shocked of the dragon's return from literally almost nowhere, and continued to vow to slay them all. Animotica later appears at the eastern warfront of Ishgard, just outside the borders of Bosco. There, he stands before the 3 shields of Spriggan, Jacob, August, and God Serena, the latter having just ended his battle against the remaining gods of Ishgard, as well as Jura. Claiming that he can quite clearly smell the stench of a dragon, Animotica challenges God Serena with the shield of Spriggan seemingly over the moon about finally encountering the Dragon King. Before God Serena can finish his rant about how difficult it has been to find him, Animotica suddenly attacks, tearing a hole in the side of his stomach with a single swift swipe of his hand. Animotica proceeds to casually walk away from the scene, leaving the collapsed body of God Serena behind. As he takes his leave, he reveals his motive, stating that there are still 7 more Dragon Slayers left. 7 more Dragon Slayers. indicating that he intends to annihilate each and every one of them until all remnants of the dragons has been wiped out of existence. This is a very compelling statement that shows that, to Agnologia's knowledge, there were only 7 dragon slayers left. Agnologia then begins to head to the northern battlefield at Zonia, we'll go with that. Along the way, he senses Gajiel's death and declares that only 6 dragon slayers remain. Again, if he could sense Gajiel's death, that is showing that he is very well aware of how many dragons there are at all times. From there, he is intercepted by Irene Belsarion, who he tries to dismiss. Agnologia is almost immediately struck with a high-level enchantment from Irene. Although taken aback at first, after realizing that Irene is a high enchanter, he becomes excited and enthusiastically attacks her, in turn with his dragon-slaying magic. At this point in time, he has no idea about Irene being a dragon, because I believe that she used her enchanting magic to somehow conceal her other magic, her dragon-slaying magic. And that would also make sense because it's been shown that other dragon slayers can smell other dragon slayers, and Wendy had no idea that Irene was a dragon slayer, so it's not that Agnologia just didn't know, it's that she had done something to completely conceal it until the right time when she released. Anyways, much later on, with Irene laying deceased, the effects of Universe 1 fade off, marking Agnologia's return. He immediately shows up next to Urza and Wendy, having felt the presence of a dragon. Wasting no further time, Agnologia notices Irene's body, as he comments on her being the one who gave the power of dragon-slaying magic to humanity. Agnologia sadistically stomps on her continuously to express his resentment. Later, after the battle with Zeref is over and the dragon slayers are brought into the Arenes of Time by Agnologia, he states, "You will be the last. Within this world of space-time, I shall exterminate you all. The last dragons." Honestly, I don't even know if I have to say anything else about this. I mean, it's literally right there in the text itself. Anyways, now that we're all caught up, let's talk about 100-Year Quest. We're introduced to another dragon in the first chapter, who is revealed to be a dragon slayer, Alefsiria. He sends them on a quest to steal 5 god dragons. At this point in time, most people were very confused. Not only was there another dragon slayer out there that Agnologia had apparently no knowledge of, but there were also 5 dragons. Like, what? After all the information that the original manga provided, this shouldn't be possible. Regardless, we as readers shrugged it off as, okay, maybe there's a special reason for not knowing. Then we meet Kyria, another dragon slayer, who refers to herself as the Blade Dragon and also a dragon eater. And if that wasn't enough, there's a whole guild of dragon eaters. They all eat dragons to gain their power. How exactly did Agnologia miss all of this? Now, some people are saying that maybe Agnologia created this guild of dragon eaters, and yeah, that would fix the problem. If only Agnologia wouldn't have been the recluse that he is, and didn't want to kill every single human being on the planet. By the way, how can this guild exist to eat dragons if there aren't any? Or at the very, very, very least, very few of them. Another point brought up by commenters is Atlas Flame and Animus from Dragon Cry still being alive. Alright, so Atlas Flame was literally reduced down to a flame. Okay, he was a dragon, but the essence of him being a dragon was basically gone. He was literally just a flame that these giants worshipped. And even Silver, Gray's father, could not recognize that he was a dragon. He could not determine if he was a demon, a dragon. All he could know was that it was emanating some kind of different magical power. Not very strong, obviously, because he was literally a flame, but still, regardless, he had no idea what he was. Regarding Animus, when a dragon uses a human as a vessel, his magic and presence is reduced to nothing. That's why Natsu and the others never sensed the dragons within them, and why others couldn't either. Otherwise, anytime Natsu, Wendy, Gajiel, any of them walked into a room, any of the other mages would have been able to feel it immediately, because the magic and essence of a dragon is so overwhelming to some people that they literally collapse. So, that explains why Acnologia didn't know about them. I personally believe that there are no real dragons left because even early on with the Eclipse Gate arc, Rogue literally needed to go into the past to get dragons to defeat Acnologia because there were none in the present time, and I think a lot of people are forgetting that. Rogue had to go back and get an army of dragons. If there were dragons in the present, why would he need the Eclipse Gate in the first place? Do you see where this is all starting to not make sense? I've said it before, but I really want this manga to be good. But let's be real, guys, things are just not adding up. If anything, they're tearing down the original because Acnologia just seems like a crazy guy who didn't even know anything to begin with. And if that is the case, Zeref is just a big a fool to make such a big deal of Acnologia. And that ultimately starts to ruin the whole point and ending of the original. I don't know if Hiro Mashima is trying to keep the franchise interesting by including more dragons, but the story could have been interesting, if not more interesting, if they had introduced a new threat. Well, with that being said, it is early on to make assumptions, but even though it is early, I'm starting to become less and less excited each chapter because all it's doing is becoming more confusing for me and a lot of others as well. But basically that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this massive information. I know not everyone's going to agree with this, but this is generally the information from the manga, from the original manga. And this new series is introducing a lot, but it's really contradicting everything that we knew about the last one. And that's why immediately when I was reading it, things weren't making sense in my head. And I was reading a lot of comments in other YouTube videos, and a lot of people are just as confused as me. So please just give what I said a chance, research it yourself if you'd like. And thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!